Hi, Omo.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Very good, very good. Thank you very much for deciding to spend some time with us this afternoon. We're trying to create more Omopeju Afanus in the systems. That's why we're
Okay.
having this session. So my name is Hakim, and I work with LSCTF. So
Okay.
this session is about knowing what you do, why you do
Okay.
it, and what
Okay.
people listening and watching can gain if they also want to be like you. So
Okay.
we'll start with an introduction of Omopeju. Who is Omopeju and what does she do? Ah,
Omopeju is
that's a huge sigh. Does that mean that we are here till tomorrow?
no, I'll try to be as brief as possible. So Omopeju is a serial entrepreneur. In aerospace for over 15 years. I'm the CEO of Cooper House Hospitality. I'm also a
Hi,
management.
Omopeju. I think we lost you for some seconds. Do you want to please rewind and start from the beginning? So
Okay.
sorry about that.
All right. Sorry, I was trying to do something, but let me hope it doesn't come through again. So, Omopeju is a serial entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years. I'm the CEO of Cooper House Hospitality, which is a hospitality management company. We specialize in training, recruitment, turnkey hospitality development. That's from conception of your project, like a hotel or restaurant, up to development. So I think, and then I'm also a development entrepreneur as well. I play in the development space. I'm the vice president of United Nations Association of Nigeria, and I'm also in a few other organizations that specialize in that kind of focus on women and youth empowerment. So those are the things that I do. So,
Okay. Wow, thank you very much for that introduction. You seem to have gone a bit away from the conventional. So what it means is that you either did not submit a CV at an organization at all, or you only spent a very short time being an employee. Which of it is true?
well, the first one actually.
So you never submitted a CV
Never
to
submitted.
any organization. Wow. One day when I grow up, I'm
No,
going to be like you. Okay, so
no, never
the
did.
next thing is, so why didn't you? That would have been the next thing to do post NYSC or after graduation from the university. Why did you decide to go the entrepreneurial route? And what do you think people listening can learn from your decision not to put together a CV to submit? I
Hello, hi. Sorry, the line cut off.
Okay, hi, we have you back now. Yes. Did you hear my question?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so I said you agree to the fact that you never submitted a CV in any organization, and then you went off straight from school on the
Yes,
entrepreneurial route. The question I
yes.
have is why? Because that is away from the norm. Even as undergraduates, you're trying to get yourself ready to be employable, but then you decided to go out there to employ people. Why did you make that decision?
Well, let me say my entrepreneurial journey started while I was in school. I registered my first business as a student. which was a fashion business. And now you're going to be wondering how that is possible, you know, from fashion now to hospitality and then projects. Well, I actually started my first business as a fashion designer while I was in school in University of Ibadan. And I had a lot of fashion shows, but I couldn't sustain the business because I didn't have a lot of, I couldn't get the right employees to work with. So I diversified into the hospitality space. I started with design, project management. Then I evolved into training and then recruitment, and that's where I am today.
Okay, so it wasn't like you decided to be an entrepreneur. You've been doing it from school, and then you
Yeah,
decided. But then we have people who start businesses as undergrads, but then
yeah.
there is that fear of, are you sure I'm not making a mistake? And then they go back to their CVs. Why did you continue? Why didn't you just say, well, this would have been a child's play if I didn't know what I want in life? I think working with the big force is my calling. Why did you still continue?
Well, I think I had a good mentor as well. So I forgot to mention earlier that I'm a mentor. I mentor on several platforms. So when I branched out into the hospitality space, that's into projects, I was fortunate to have a mentor that was able to guide me and help me to grow in the entrepreneurial space. So a lot of what I learned under my mentor because he allowed me thrive. He gave me the opportunity to learn a lot. He gave me opportunity to handle things, and I found out that I was actually good at a lot of those things that even if I didn't have a knowledge about it, I tried to learn from people around me to understand how to do it and get to do it. So I just didn't see the need early on to actually take up a paid employment as a staff or something. I just evolved into my current role.
Okay, okay. So I like the fact that you've mentioned of the role of a mentor in
Yeah.
in um, in in pursuing that path that you decided. So now the question is, so why hospitality amongst a lot of other areas that you would have ventured into? You would have you'd have started to scale up your fashion business. You would have gone into other area, but why hospitality? Did you go to any hotel and they refused to give you tour?
Well, no. So, well, it's that, like I said, I got a mentor. So when I met my mentor, he was also he was doing hotel projects and stuff. So I got in and I was going to handle the interior, which is almost towards the fashion aspect because it's creative and all of that. Then I found out that I had the flair for designing, so I could read architectural drawings. So I realized that I could understand a lot of engineering things on site, and I actually enjoyed being on site and seeing how the projects, putting it all together. So I gradually started evolving. Then we find out when you set up the projects, then you now have issues with staffing, trying to recruit the right staff, and then the projects are not well managed and things like that. So started creating relationships with different organizations that handle various aspects of the hospitality space. And then I just evolved into the entire hospitality sector from the start all the way to the end. I think that I forgot to even mention earlier that I'm the vice honorary secretary for the Institute of Hospitality UK Nigeria. So I've found myself in the hospitality space and I've created a niche for myself in that space as well.
Hmm. So you said you found yourself in that space, and
Yes.
you also evolved within it. And from what you said, you ensure that you got certifications and credibility within and outside the country.
Yeah.
So what would you say is one of the greatest moments as a hospitality consultant?
Well, my greatest moment, I have a lot, and some of it is like the training we're doing with LSCGF, being able to impart knowledge, being able to help youths in the state get employed is one of my greatest achievements because that's something that I'm very passionate about. So when we started the project, it seemed like a tall order at the beginning, but having the right team as well was very good for us. So we seen people so far we've had about 300 trainees pass through us, knowing that at least 50% of these people have been placed in jobs or are currently employed as a result of the training is one of my greatest moments. And then another high I get is when I conceptualize a project and then you see it on paper and then you see the reality of it. And when you're even trying to put it together, people are like, okay, it's not looking like it. And then we finish it and they walk in and like, oh, wow, yes, this is actually way better than we imagined. So, yeah, those are my really great moments in the industry.
Hmm. So seeing other people go through your trainings and become great employees and get jobs is one of your training, and also seeing your concept, something that appeared to you in your dream, something that came to you while you were working, become a reality. But those
Yeah.
are the upsides. You know, if there's anything that I've come to understand from talking to business leaders and all of that in Nigeria is we tend to focus sometimes too much on the positive sides and the good sides and the memorable moments. I'm sure there have been moments.
Oh, I think I lost you for a bit. Can you hear me? Hello?
Where you would have asked yourself in any down times and moments, can I just do something else?
Oh, yeah, there have been loads of downtimes. COVID, especially during the COVID, when you have a project you're managing and you're not getting where you want to get to, you're not achieving the targets. Because I set targets for almost every project that we have. And when we don't get to those targets, those are like really low moments for me. And I'm like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? And I don't take it easy on myself. I'm like my greatest critic. I try to push myself to do better and to do more. So yeah, those are my really low moments when I'm not achieving the target set out, when where a client has engaged us for something and we're actually either falling behind or it's not getting to the expectations that we all had at the start of the project. So yeah, definitely there'll always
So,
be downtime. There are always
do you
low
want to
moments.
share any
Yeah.
of those moments? Do you want to share any particular project that this happened?
Well, I could say, for instance, we had the project we're working on, and everything seemed to be going very well, and then COVID happened, and all the expectations, all plans went down the drain. And imagine telling somebody to invest so much into something, and all everything is now looking like it's not going to be achieved anymore, and you feel that at the whole process. Like the whole process seems to be going downstream, and you don't even know how to do anything about it. You don't have any control over what is going to be done or how to make it better. So that has been a very, very, very difficult moment for me, and a very interesting as well because I was able to learn a lot from it, and it showed some of the deficiencies that we have within the industry, and at least we learned a few lessons from it. And so I'll say in all the down moments, being able to pick one or two lessons from it is also a good thing. Yeah.
Hmm. So for you, a setback or a failure in quotes is a step towards success, and it is how well you bounce back that determines how far you can go. But in all
Yeah.
of these moments, what gave you that what do you call it, that ginger in quote to keep going?
Well,
Some people will
there's
face this kind of setbacks, and for them it looks like
the end
maybe
of the
God
world.
told me not to do this thing. Maybe the God is using that to tell me that I should go and become a musician. Maybe this is not my calling. But what keeps you going?
Okay, so I'll tell you something. Like during the pandemic, I told you I started with fashion. You would not believe that I started making face masks because I was going crazy and I didn't know what to do. I just thought, okay, what can I do? If not, I'm going to like lose my mind. I love being busy. I don't like sitting in a place and doing nothing. So I started making face masks, and I think I made over almost 5,000 pieces of face masks in the pandemic period. So that was a driving force for me, and that was something that kept me going. So for me, once there's life, there's hope, and opening myself up to learning new things is also very, very important. Like current training we're doing with LSCTF, I had to go study about it, fast food handling and safety. I didn't have so much knowledge on that. I just had an idea, but for us to be able to offer that training to people, I had to go and study with the Serve Safe, which is an American organization, on how to handle food. I got certified. So always looking for opportunities. I don't sit down and say, okay, something is going to happen. I take time, I go out there, I learn things, I observe what is going on, and I try as much as possible to look for opportunities. I don't let any I don't see obstacles. I just see opportunities, because when you start to see obstacles, then you start getting depressed. So I try not to see obstacles. I try to look for opportunities in
Opportunities. Mm.
every problem that is around me. I try to find solution to it. I think that's what keeps me going.
Okay, okay. So, well, at least this looks like I'm the one asking the question and you're the one answering them. So more grease to your elbows. So the next thing I would want to know, at least on behalf of those that are listening, is
Yeah.
are there any skills that you think are needed to thrive in the hospitality sector?
Well, I think a lot of the front of house staff, they need the basic skills they need to have is outside of the training, soft skills. I think that's one skill that we tend to lack in Nigeria generally. People are not nice. People are not. They don't take it upon themselves to smile. It costs you nothing to smile. And if you're working in the hospitality space, you need to be friendly. You need to be nice. You need to have a pleasant personality so that people would see you and they feel happy. And in the hospitality space, there's certain key things. The people need to feel loved. People need to feel appreciated. So, as a person in that space, you need to put in the work. You need to put in your best. Leave when you walk into work every day. Whatever problems you may be facing, just remember to drop it at the door and walk in with a bright smile. Ready to welcome the guests, ready to serve the guests, ready to be the best that you can ever be. And one thing I always tell my staff is, even if you don't get appreciated for the work you're doing, just always remember that somebody is watching you, and you always get rewarded. And I say to them that you let your work speak for you. It's not about how much you talk, it's not about how visible you are doing nothing, but actually visible doing good work, doing exceptional work, doing outstanding work. I think that is one skill people need to learn. People need to do the best that they can without being told. You know, People feel until you breathe down their neck before they do the right thing. I don't think that is right. I think that is something that should be inherent. You need to task yourself as an individual and say, I want to be better. I want to find out how to do things better. I want to do things without being told, do the right thing without being told, without somebody telling me, no, you have to do it this way. Even if I've been told severally, I need to know how to recall or remember these things and do it without being supervised. So I think those are the critical skills that anybody has. Because even if you train somebody and you teach them, they're not teachable, if they're not willing to open up their mind, if they're not willing to learn and unlearn and relearn what they've been taught before, if they're not willing to seek new knowledge, open their brains and their heads to new ideas, new knowledge, then trust me, there's no hope for growth for anybody. Even whether inside the hospitality industry or outside the hospitality industry.
Hmm. So the strive for excellence,
Yeah.
if I can put it in one word. But is it true that sometimes people in the hospitality sector are perfectionists? I can see a very, very lovely artwork behind you, and I'm sure you would have ensured that it was the best of the pack. Do you have to be a perfectionist to thrive in that sector? Because I have a feeling that you most likely will be one.
Well, you got me there. So honestly, you really need to be a perfectionist because when your guests are coming in, they expect exceptional service. They expect they have high expectations because they're leaving their house. They expect that they're going to be served right. They expect that everything should be in order. So yes, you have to be a perfectionist. You have to know what is right and you have to do what is right. You have to take away what your personal conviction is and just think of what your guest needs and how best to service your guest. So definitely you have to be a perfectionist.
So I would go and check my destiny. If it is, if perfectionism is there, then I can sue. If not, I think I will just stay where I am.
Please come and join us.
I should come and join you. I will have to see if I'm a perfectionist or not. It looks
Okay.
like it's very
When you do,
important.
let us know so we know how to co-opt you.
No problem, no problem. So, in 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 layman words, something as simple as what anybody can understand. What are the different careers in the hospitality industry? Because I believe that there will be other smaller careers or other units beyond in that big umbrella.
Okay, so you can start from the entry level, which is the front facing staff, like the junior staff, which is the front office, the waiters, the what do you call them, the housekeepers. So those are like junior level staff. Then you have like management level, you have your accountants, you have your managers, you have supervisors. So within the space, you can actually grow a career. So you can start as a front office and be front office guest service attendants, which is a front office staff, and grow into a supervisor, front office supervisor. From a front office supervisor, you can be a room division supervisor, you can be a front office manager, you can be a general manager with time. So it's a it actually has a great career progression, and I like it when people take their time to go through all the various sectors within the divisions within the space because for you to be a room divisions manager, you need to understand housekeeping a bit. You know, if you don't know how a room is meant to be, you can't be a room division manager. If you don't know certain things about room management and room handling, it'll be difficult to be a room division manager because you kind of oversee both the rooms and the front office. So I'll say look through the various sectors, look at which area best works for you, and think of where you want to be within the space. Do you want to grow up to the level of a general manager? Do you want to go up to the level of a hotel manager? Do you want to go to an operations manager? There's so many opportunities within the space. There's HR, there's accounting, there's storekeeper. There's so much within the industry. You have chefs, you have cooks, you have kitchen assistant. You can start as a kitchen assistant to a cook, a chef's assistant, to a cook, to a chef, to a sous chef, to an executive chef. So there's so many levels that you can progress from and get to the top that you would even not begin to imagine how much you can grow within the space.
Hmm. Wow. Like I envisioned, it's a very very big industry, and then it is left to you to decide how high you want to aim and how far you want to go. So, um, for anybody listening who is looking at it and saying, "I think this is interesting. I think I love this." How do you know if this industry is for you? How do you even know if apart from being a perfectionist, what else lets
Well,
you know
I'll,
that I think this is for me? Or how did you know, if you're going to make it personal, how did you know that this space is your space? Did
well,
anybody appear in your dreams?
I would, no, nobody appeared. I just realized I had a fair flair for it, and I do things and people appreciate what I do, and I studied a lot. Did a lot of research to actually brush myself up. So it wasn't like I just jumped into the space. So if you want to be in this space, you need to be sure that you're ready for hard work because it takes long hours. Sometimes there's some facilities you have to stand. If you're like front office staff, you have to stand for like 8 hours every day, you know. So you need to be sure you can work long hours, you can work night shifts, you can work. You can work at night and still be smiling. You can take on hard work. You can work for like 8 hours and still end the day with a smile on your face. That you're not the kind of person that is cranky or is not pleasant or has a big chip on their shoulder. Because if you have a chip on your shoulder, you really don't want to be in this space, because guests will annoy you, guests to do things that will drive you nuts. But your persona has to always be nice and pleasant and ready to serve, irrespective of whoever it is you're dealing with, how nice or how difficult or how unpleasant the person is. So you need to be an easygoing person, but also very diligent, very hardworking, and ready to put in long hours, irrespective of the time of the day. It could be at night, it could be in the morning. I think if you have all of those put together, then you're on the course to being a um, building a career within the hospitality space. Because even as a manager, you sometimes have to work at night. You have night manager, you have duty managers, you have so it's a space that takes a lot from you, and you have to be ready to devote that time and that energy into it to get the best out of it.
Hmm. Wow. So from what you said, it sounds to me that customer service is the backbone of this industry. How true is that?
It's front, center, back, up, down, everything.
Is
That's what
everybody?
makes the industry. That's everything about it. If you can't service your guests, if you can't service your customers, they will never come back. But if you service them right, if you exceed the expectations, then you're building brand loyalty. No matter what it is, you're building people that would continue to market your brand, because, like they say, one-on-one marketing, word of mouth marketing is the best form of marketing you can ever get. So every point, every touch point a customer has with your organization, they must always see that exceptional customer service. They must always walk away knowing that they've gotten the best that they can ever get, and it's more than exceeds, not just meets the expectations, but exceeds the expectations. And you're good and the home and dusted, if you have that sorted out within your space.
Hmm. So customer service is very important, like you've said, but it looks like it is also very rare, not only in the hospitality industry, but across a lot of businesses. Sometimes I used to ask myself, do we have an institute of customer service in Nigeria where people will at least be trained in simple courtesy and the like? How come customer service is so important, yet it is so rare?
Well, I think consumer protection tried to do that, but the truth is, Nigerians, I don't know if we say we have this tendency of not being nice. You could walk into a store. I'm just using like a store as a generic example, and you want to pick an item, and the staff, when you're talking abroad, the staff is ready to serve, even if they know that you're probably not going to buy. They're willing to serve, upsell you, tell you what looks good on you, and then after spending like 1 hour or 30 minutes of their time, you smile and you walk away and say, "Oh, thank you very much. I'll probably come back next time." How well that staff treats you will make you want to, when you now have the money, you remember that treatment, because memories, when you experience customer experience, build memories within them. So it's either good memories or bad memories. So they'll always want to come back. They'll say, "That store, they were so nice to me, and I made up my mind when I was walking away from there that I'll go back." But in Nigeria, if you walk into a store, the sales girl is already assessing you and telling you that she's probably not going to buy anything. She'll not even attend to you. So this is a major problem. It's one of the trainings we actually taught last year before the pandemic, which was on sales. We try to let them understand the importance of customer service, how to be pleasant, because the way you treat your customer determines how much they would spend. Because a customer will want to just buy one item, but because you're so nice, because you're so pleasant, they end up buying like 10 different items that they didn't even budget for. And they'll always remember that treatment that they got, that you treated them like a king. You offered them drink, you asked them to sit down, you kept showing them things and so, "Oh, this looks so beautiful." And even if you yourself, it wasn't so nice. But that feeling, people want to feel like kings. People want to feel like somebody cares about them. People want to feel like they're the best thing that ever walked into your store at that point in time, or into your facility, like if it's a hotel. So it's critical to the growth of any business. So even if you have everything right, if you have your product right, even your product might end up without the right customer service. You might lose customers because you're not building loyalty to your brand. People don't get the right what they want. So you offer a product that is not getting delivering the same results as you advertised, and you're not getting feedback. That's still part of customer service. So a lot of people feel customer service is about smiling or talking to people nicely. No, customer service touches everything from the beginning to the end, from when somebody decides to buy your product to when they use it, and after they use it, how do they feel? So that is what customer service is about. But if you build good service over time, even if you make a mishap at one point, you would all people there'll be people that will be out there that will speak for you because they've experienced you, they've experienced the exceptional service that you've given, they've experienced how good your products have been. All these things make up how well and how many more times people will come back to buy your product or refer other people to your product or to your service.
To your service. Well, it's quite sad sometimes that a lot of businesses do not understand the importance of customer service. But then some people would say that for people who work in this industry who are not the owners of the business, they would say to us that how they are treated as staff
Yeah.
has a relationship with how they would treat the consumers.
Yes.
Is that so? And do business owners have a role to play in customer service in terms of treating their staff right?
Well, sometimes in several ways, because so we call the staff internal customers. So if you so you start from them. If you treat them right, then you're sure that they will also treat your customers right. But another thing that we need to understand is also training. A lot of business owners don't want to train because they'll tell you that if I train this person, she'll probably go
Mhm.
somewhere else and then she'll leave me and then I'll have to train another person. So people avoid training. But the truth is, to get the best out of people, you need to keep training them. You need to let them understand your company policy. What does this organization stand for? Let them be a part of it. Let them understand their role they as individuals play within the organization. And that role they play, once they understand it and they own it and they see it as, oh, even though I'm a cleaner, even though I'm a gate man, I have a serious role to play, because if I don't do my job well, it could either determine how many customers come in and how many customers walk away. And even the staff need to understand that without them, there's no business. Because if you don't treat the customers right, they won't come back. And if there's no business, how do we pay you your salaries? So it's a two-way street. Everybody needs to understand their role, and you need to keep letting them understand these things and talking to them and educating them on these things, because we tend to feel that, oh, well, whatever it is, they should know what to do. We kind of Business owners tend to assume that they should know the right thing to do, but sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you need to actually keep telling them and letting them know. And then you, as a business owner, you also need to know when to say enough is enough, because when you try to be sentimental as well, it could also be at the detriment of your business. And take there should be reward systems as well, reward and penalty system to help put your staff in check, and just train them, make them feel like human beings, make them feel happy, try to understand what their needs are, try to build a family within your organization. I think if you have those in place, you have little issues. And then when there are issues, you try to understand what are the issues. Is it something that can be managed? If it can't be managed, then you also need to know when to say, thank you very much. We appreciate your service, and I don't think you belong in the organization again.
Hmm. The beauty of customer service. And this question was it came up on social media some days ago, and the
Yeah.
question goes thus: is the customer always right?
Well, for you to have peace, the customer is always right. But you also need to know how to manage the customers when they're wrong. You don't need to throw it in their face that no, you're wrong, or you need to be empathic with them. You need to put yourself in the customer's shoes. You need to know how to do recovery, especially when you were actually wrong. And even if the customer is wrong, how do you manage such customers? That's why the difficult customers come in. You have the difficult, you have the impossible ones. There's some customers that are just impossible. Or your goal and your objective as a customer service person, as somebody that is out to deliver services, to make sure you do your best to meet the customer's expectations. Do your best. So that at the end of the day, even if you find a difficult customer that you know that, oh, this customer is the worst customer, when a person is walking through your door, you're like, oh my God, this person is good. But once you can actually meet that person's expectation, once you can break that person, you have one of the most loyal customers ever, because they will say, no, that place, I know I'm a difficult person, but they've been able to treat me in a way that even when I bring all my drama, when I bring all my difficult and my nastiness, when I bring all this attitude that anybody would not even want to stand, and they're so calm, and the way they just try to say, okay, don't worry, madam, what is the issue, we'll help you solve it, okay, just we're so sorry, the way you handle that person will also make the person feel so good, will make the person actually become like one of your biggest supporters and loyalists. So yeah, the customer would always be right. Even though they're wrong, you always make them feel like they're right. You know,
Hmm.
just be peace to it.
Even though they are wrong, you must always still make them feel like they are right because they
Yeah.
are your customer.
Yes.
Okay.
And we
So,
can now point it out to them where they got it wrong. Do you understand? So it's not like you're going to say, oh yes, they say you're stupid. I say yes, you're right. They say you did this wrong. But you also need to understand how to strike a balance, make them see where they got it wrong. Do you understand? And find a way to do that without them feeling um, upset about it. Do it in a pleasant way that everybody's happy at the end of the day.
okay. So I'm sure people watching would have at one point or the other fallen in love with this industry, listening to how beautiful you've painted it and how the experience is and how the impact of that career is. For someone who would want to start a career in the hospitality industry, what sort of advice would you give the person so that the person can not only what do you call it, thrive in that industry, but would also be an accomplished career for that person. So assuming
Well,
Hakeem wants to get into the industry, what would your advice be to him?
so for somebody that wants to start, you need to first know what level, because if you don't even have any experience at all, like what I'll always advise, that you start at the bottom, because there's no point starting at the top without the requisite knowledge. So you should be ready to take yourself down, to start at the bottom, to understand the ropes, learn the ropes. Because even if you start at the bottom, because you're intelligent, you're ready to learn, you really are determined and passionate about growing within the space, you find out that your growth will be very fast. So this industry is so large. It's so large. There's always a new hotel opening every day. There's always a new restaurant opening every day. And you find a lot of people, when they get pregnant, they want to move out from the space. So there'll always be new openings for you. So you need to now decide and be determined and make up your mind that you want to do this. And you need to now check. So I always advise, work in different areas so that you know exactly where you're best suited. So you may feel that you're good at the front office, meanwhile you find out that you're a fantastic housekeeper. A lot of people look at housekeeping as something to be embarrassed about, but no, without you there's no hotel. There's no hotel. If your rooms are not clean, nobody will come back. If you don't service, that's the most critical. The front office will only smile and check them in. But the time they spend the highest number of hours within that bedroom, they'll sleep in there, they'll eat in there, they'll do so many things in there. So the you need to give the best. So if don't as a housekeeper, you don't need to even think of, oh no, that's very derogatory, or that's something that is beneath me. No, that's like the heart and soul of a hotel. Then you look at the F&B area, which is the food and the drinks. Do you think you'll be good as a waiter? Do you think you're pleasant enough? Housekeepers have little interaction with guests, but there are times that you actually have to meet a guest and interface with a guest. So you need to be determined to understand what you want within that space and how help and how you plan to thrive within that space. Have a plan, have a goal, have a plan, and once you have all of that, then it'll help you actually find your niche within the space. If you have that, because you find there's so many things you can do, way too many. You can't even begin to imagine until you get into this space, and then you now decide where you want to be in the space. You don't even some of you will feel, do I have to work in a hotel? No, you can actually own a hospitality facility. You could have like a catering outfit, which is still under hospitality. You could be a travel agent. So there's so many things that you can do within the hospitality and tourism space. So it's not just limited to working in a hotel or working in a restaurant. You could be a caterer, you could be a baker, you could be an event decorator. Is still part of hospitality. You could be an event stylist. Is still part of hospitality. So the industry is vast. Look at your core critical skills. Look at what you feel comfortable with. Look at the resources that are available to you. Look at how many hours you can devote to it. Are you married? Do you have kids? Do you have responsibilities? So open up your mind and do a very in-depth research to know which area fits you best. Then go into it.
Hmm. So most importantly, it's like you said, is know thyself, know where your
Yeah.
strength is, know where your interests lie, and then follow it. Now, someone has asked a question. In following this, how fast can the person buy Benz? So how lucrative is this industry?
Can somebody buy?
How fast can somebody who joined buy Benz and live in Banana Island?
Well, to be honest, it's not as easy. So where you can, for someone that wants to buy beds, you need to be ready to invest in a hospitality business, right? Even within the career space, if you're starting from the scratch, as a manager, you can afford to buy a bed. You can afford to finance a property. I'm not going to assure you it's going to be in Banana Island, but as by
But
the
in
time you
Banana
start getting
Island,
even to the supervisor level, yeah, there's some properties that pay very, very high, depending on the scale of where you're working, your location, and then the star rating, like a branded hotel. If you're working with the brands, then you can be sure that you're going to be making some very cool money, and you can actually buy and achieve all those dreams that you set out for yourself. It's not as bad as people seem to think. A lot of people feel that, oh, I don't have WIEC, let me just go to hospitality or go and wait tables for a while till I can get admission. No, you can actually build a career that can get you to the top, to the pinnacle of any other career you can find out there. Yes, there's some people that expatriate GMs are so highly priced. Even the local GMs, people are beginning to appreciate them. So it's a space that there's a lot of potential, there are a lot of opportunities. But if you want to do fast, one of the fastest way you can grow is probably setting up a business. And then business is not easy. I would not lie to you. So if you're going to grow your business organically, that you're sure that you're going to be able to thrive in the next 5 years, before you can even start thinking of maybe I want to buy a house, you'll be thinking of about 5 years time. So there's nothing that's going to come easy. It's not an automatic process. It's a slow growth process, and I'd always advise grow organically. Don't try to accelerate it or overdo it. At the end of the day, you're going to burn out or you're going to lose steam.
hmm, thank you very much for all your insights. I think we've
My
discussed
pleasure.
about how wide the industry is, what makes the industry very peculiar, what people should look out for. We also discussed a little bit about customer service because it's very important, and what people need for people who are willing to go into that industry, what they need to have, and how fast they can buy Benz and live on Banana Island. Thank you very, very much, Omopeju
My
Afano.
pleasure.
It's really been nice talking to you. I would see if I can consider coming to join you in that sector because I think when we got to the question of Benz and Banana Island, I think I got really interested. So don't worry. In case you see me when we were training, you now understand why I came to join you. Thank you very, very much for your
Thank
time.
you for
And
having me.
yeah, and for those watching and listening, this training is part of our USCDF training on hospitality. And for if you want to share this video with other what you call it people, please go on our social media pages to apply for the employability support project. The link is on your screen. LSETF USADF is on your screen. Please go there and apply for any of especially the hospitality one. I'm sure that you would enjoy it because there is no job that is as fun as what you call it as working with people and serving them and making them happy. Yes, the link for the hospitality course is now on your screen. Please do not please take advantage of this training because I know that if you are going to pay for this training with Omopeju herself, you know how much you're going to pay. So
Yeah,
take advantage of it. Omopeju, thank you very, very much for your time and also thank you for what you do for us at
thank
LSCTF.
you.
Thank you for
Thank
impacting lives. Thank you for giving people employable skills. People can now feed themselves and their families thanks to you. Thank you once again. And to everybody who has listened, thank
you.
you very, very much.
Thank you for having me. Such a pleasure.
Same here. Same here. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.